It is 10 o'clock. The P3 committee will come to order. Any members of the public? Okay, thank you. All right. We will get right to the first item for discussion, landscape workshops at Vallecitos.
So all 5 classes completed, so that's good. And I'm ready to be done with it.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've mentioned this, but I am taking classes over at Palomar on Tuesday nights, the auto technology class. So I go Tuesday to lecture and then Thursday's lab. And then having that Wednesday with the class in there is like 3 nights where you're not getting home until at least 9 o'clock or so. So I was ready to be done with them. The turnout was good. Some were, more better than others. I think certain things like, designing your space, I think had the biggest attendance. I think, the one more about dirt and soils was less attended. And then this last one, I think, was kind of putting it all together. And I think that one was less attended. But good turnout for all of them. We did get some kits from the water authority that we picked up that were kind of these little, almost a bag like this, but with a trowel in it and some gloves and stuff. And so I gave them to the students because there wasn't really enough to take to an event because, what happens is if you give away something that's kind of good, then people come and they see, and then they're disappointed that you don't have any more. So we gave them to those students. So that was good. We have a follow-up session next Monday with the city of San Marcos, kind of on next steps. They want to kind of continue this type of activity, just trying to work with people to improve dry weather runoff issues. And then Lisa had a good idea. We've kind of done, we've given away succulents before. We're going to do that this coming weekend on Sunday at the Fall Festival. But, we've had a craft like for certain events where you kind of put your succulent in a little, almost like a diorama. And it's cute and it's fun. Yes, they do. And she's thinking we could host one where we let, people come and do that. Just kind of have the materials to let them do it. It really won't cost that much. And it's a good thing to get people to kind of get into the succulent world. So we probably will do the classes that we just did again at some point, but probably not for, maybe a couple of years because they rotate. Yeah, they go to different locations and they probably won't want to have one back up in our neck of the woods for a few years, but all in all, a success.
It's great. So with the succulent, the succulent craft, what were you thinking about doing that? Is it like a standalone activity? And when do you think you would have it?
Probably after the holidays. It's probably a little too soon to get that out and publicized. We've got a certain amount of events kind of in the fall, and then the holidays show up, and that's not a real good time to try and get people to come to much of anything. It's just everybody's busy. But as soon as we get into springtime, we probably will host an event here, have materials. We might actually take it outside. There's cute things you can do, like have colored sand and like have like a blue sand that looks like ocean water or something. And, we don't spill it on the carpet and leave a mess for Eric to clean up. So we haven't really got the logistics all dialed in yet, but it'll be a success, and it'll get people to start thinking about succulents in a new way.
We did something similar for Bring Your Kid to Work.
That's exactly what we did.
We did blue sand, some rocks, and they put tons of their succulents and also made it look like an underwater scene.
Yeah.
So cool. It sounds like a good community event.
Yeah. The tricky part about that one is it takes a while. We will probably have a craft this Sunday, and maybe Saturday. We also have fire department open house on Saturday. We have a craft where people will make a bookmark, and they'll get like a little bookmark with some water saving tips on it. They'll add a little tassel and add a little gem or jewel or duck or little item, but it's quick. So people like it, but it's fast. And like to have like a really slow craft, especially like at the fall festival, it's just bad because everybody's trying to get in and they don't line up well. And so, sometimes what you're really trying to do is provide something that's kind of fun. Right. It doesn't take too long.
Yeah. Good.
Because each kid building's like 5 to 7 days.
Yeah, a little bit.
Good. Anything else? Any other comments?
On landscape workups? No, that's it.
Okay. Great. All right. Staffing update.
So this is just my staffing. So Alicia's. Oh, okay. Well, sorry. Alicia's still out. She's got some problems still. Maybe is through the end of October. Lisa had the thumb surgery. She's back, and it's really nice to have her back. It's kind of this little.
She came back last.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. Got a little sappy moment. It's like, the cavalry showed up. It was nice. It's just been a little tough all by myself. And, just there's a lot of things to keep juggling. And so
and just on support of that. So Chris has been working with both Glenn and I on kind of prioritization, because his list of events and kind of action items are pretty extensive actually. Now that I'm getting more involved, more extensive than I realized. So and with that, a lot of what Lisa and Alicia does, Chris has been taking on either directly or we've been putting to the side. So you haven't seen as many videos, for example, because that's me and Alicia's department. Chris been keeping up with the social media, but I think by your own mission, Lisa's much better at it.
Yeah, she is.
So we've been working through it, but as staff starts returning, we'll start getting to some of the, I won't even call them back burner items, but the things that we didn't prioritize.
They're off the stove, right?
They're
just over there.
Yeah, so we've just been kind of shuffling around, getting help, and we've also communicated about if certain staff is out long term, maybe getting outside help if we need to. So but we'll be coming back to P3 before we decide that. So
Falkenthal, who works for she doesn't work for the water authority, she's a contractor.
Yeah, she's a consultant for the water.
Yeah, she does the Water News Network stories for us, so kind of a writer. And so we may see if we can tap into her as well. We're already connected with her pretty well, and she knows our stuff, and
she's also well versed in the industry.
So I might see if I can bring her on board and provide some support.
Neil Bloom does it for Encino Wastewater and a couple of other orgs.
Tell me that name again.
Neil Bloom.
Did he reach out to me before?
He did, yeah.
Who does he work for now? What's his agency?
Is it called like Tidewater or something like that?
Okay. So
he has his own company.
Yeah, okay, it's Tidewater. I got an email the other day from somebody, and I was thinking, is that Director Grosset's guy? And I don't think it was. And you get a lot of that. You get a lot of vendors that are, let's meet, let's talk. And you're like,
he's really well connected in San Diego, so he just knows the right avenues to kind of put stuff out on.
My point is, I will respond to him. This other person, I was like, I don't even recognize this. But I was thinking, is that the same person? I don't think it is.
On other staffing updates, so we went ahead and filled the assistant O&M manager position. Eric Bennett, our asset management supervisor, much to Jason's disappointment and Ed's delight, we got that job. So he actually started, I think.
So he's going from Jason's department to Ed's.
Yeah.
So and so now we're obviously he's going to be not really doing double duty, but kind of partially easing into his new role while he eases out of his old role. And then we're obviously going to be having to backfill that position. So we're going to be going out and putting both out to internal staff and external and doing kind of a wider reach on that application. Besides that, that's the main movement as far as major positions. Everything else is either still in process of being filled, but from staffing levels, we're still staffing up. We're not fully staffed. We don't have 109 3/4. I think we have 104 right now, maybe about. It could be one off on that number. So
Anything else on staffing update? Okay. All right. Fall community events. You've already talked a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we had Double Peak Challenge this last weekend on Saturday. It's a run. It's a good event, but it's not a great event. You know, most people are running. So before the event kicks off, you get some people wandering through, but then most of them go run. And it's a little thin, and we all just kind of talk to each other. You know, everybody make all the vendors and make rounds with each other, and then the runners come back and then come through again. So it's you know, we'll continue to staff that one, but it's not like the fall festival or anything like that. Saturday is fire department. Sunday is fall festival. I went and gave some of the fire department staff a hard time over the fact that they had it on the same weekend as the fall festival. Like, why do you do that to us? And like sheriff's staff were there. They were saying the same thing. Like, why do you guys do that? So, but you know, sometimes it's just the way things work out. So
firemen do it just to bug the sheriffs.
Right. You know how they just get on each other, right? And then we have Water Academy on November 2nd, a Thursday.
So again, just as a reminder, it's going to be the full Water Academy, both water and sewer, kind of a full day event with both Twin Oaks and Meadowlark.
And are folks signing up for that just yet or no?
Yeah, and Between the Pipes is going to be hitting people's doors probably the end of this week, the beginning of next week, and that's kind of the feature article in there is to push that, and we will also push it at both of the events this weekend. We pushed it on Saturday, November 2nd, Thursday.
What's the capacity for that?
Pretty much 50.
Okay.
The bus holds about 55, and there's about 5 of us that go on the bus. So
we still take vehicles and put staff in vehicles for support and stuff on the bus if we need to.
Yeah,
get a little extra if we have to. And
we have a chase vehicle, which I don't know if we reported out on this. I thought we did maybe, but last year, Guy and his dad had to get off. Yeah, wife was having some medical issues. Yeah, medical emergency.
I'm available to be at Meadowlark if you'd like a director to say hi.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the directors are invited for the whole event. You can go start at the event, leave, come back, meet us at events. You know, the timing. Chris and his team put together a calendar, schedule with the approximate timing of where we'll be and when.
So. And I think one of the really good points of it. There's obviously at the beginning of the event a chance for directors to talk to the people in the presentation, but we do feed them lunch, and we try to have staff and board members there to just sit and eat with them. And that's just it's a big thing. They can maybe ask the question that they didn't want to raise their hand about. So
that's an excellent point, because I think a lot of times we see different board members, they'll be at the beginning to say something, say hi and introduce themselves, and then stay at lunch. And then obviously for you guys who've been to all the tours and seen all the facilities already, then they usually take off. So then it ends up being kind of a half day for board members.
Yeah.
Again, it's whatever you prefer.
Yeah, up to you.
Yeah, in the past, I was there for the kickoff.
Yep.
And then for the lunch, and it was nice to get to chat with folks and see them on their way in the morning too. So I went in the morning and that was fun.
Yeah.
Fun. Well attended.
It's a good day.
Okay.
So we'll have a busy fall.
Yeah. Okay. So November 2nd. Okay. So I'll put that on my calendar, and I will plan to. I don't know if I will join you at places, but definitely be there in the morning and come out for lunch and say hi to folks. Okay. Anything else for fall community?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Seed library for the garden. This sounds exciting. I think this is the first
yes, and this is like, when Lisa comes back and you're like, oh yeah, this is great. Why didn't I think of that? And I go, that's why I have her here, is to help me think. So what she's got going and what we're going to do and what we got approved for is like a seed library that'll be out in the garden. It's really put on by Audubon Society, is kind of the entity that puts it on, but there's the other agencies as well. Here's a couple for you. Seed packs. So the crux of it is it's almost like the book library that we have out front, with landscaping classes or landscaping information, but just a way to get people to the garden. And then the intent is that people can come get native seeds, but also after they plant and their plants flower, to bring some back and put them back in there. It's sort of like the library. The good part about this, and as I understand it, one of the big benefits of this is, native seed library, is that, there's certain creatures locally that really rely on these. And, as we fill in and these are unavailable, it makes it difficult on them. So by planting them, you're providing them, kind of a way station to be at, in their travels as they search for food and shelter and places to nest and things like that. So this will be pretty cool. We have some ideas about how the box will look, but the gardens.
Get a location where you're gonna put it?
Probably down towards the other end, away from the book location. And what's I driving at with this? Oh, so the garden. Interestingly enough, I'm shifting gears just a little bit, but there was a lady who called up and she wants a tour of the garden and wanted to get a specific date, and she had a date in April. And so she was worried that she wouldn't be able to get, on our calendars. And we're like, yeah, we'll do it in April. So there's some day in April. He wanted to make sure she was going to get in. Maybe it was April 5th. But
she has a very busy schedule.
Right? Yeah. Well, and you're thinking, oh, this is a good thing. So yeah, we'll give a tour to this person in April. So that's our, new venture out in the garden, is the seed library.
So what's the timeline on that?
So the biggest hurdle we face is kind of finding the right thing to put it in. Lisa's she looked locally. There's am I pointing in the right direction? I do that. Antique shop, kind of down here. What probably works best, and it kind of shows it as, a little, and so sometimes you can get almost like a card catalog, like an old fashioned, like they would have in the library, that they don't use those too much anymore. So we do decimals. Yeah. So we might get something like that. We'll probably have to have some fabrication by construction to put a post in the ground and so forth. She came in today with maybe I just show you. And it might work. I don't know. Maybe I'll let you both chime in on it. But she found like a little toilet from the, like a child's toilet from and it has a little lid. You could lift it up and then put inside like a little box with things in it. I'm not sure what we'll do with it. She got it for free. We may do something else with it, like stick it in the lobby or something, as like look how the technologies change over time. But some sort of wooden container to put them in.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right.
If somebody grows a plant and they want to donate their seeds, what's the process?
So they would just create one of the little packets just like that. Probably have them, if they want to reach out to us, if they want to specifically do it. But it's sort of like the library where, you can go get a book and you can drop off a book. So
okay.
Kind of the same situation.
And we might be even able to have envelopes out there for them to take an envelope to bring back seeds.
Yes.
Or something like that.
Yes. Those little, just like that.
Yeah. Label it.
Yeah. Little see-through plastic thing from Staples or whatever. Open, close.
Yeah. I like the idea.
I was really pleased with it. The stuff showed up while she was out.
We got a lot of positive comments on our demonstration garden, and people ask about it all the time. And one of the things even after a water academy tour, a lot of people will ask specifics about the garden, and if they come talk to me, I have to just say, go talk to Lisa.
Right. Yeah. Even me, you know,
So.
yeah. Better.
Yeah. Well, good. That's great. And, you know, this is a great community building effort. And it's almost like a co-op, right? You can feel like you're belonging to this greater organization that is making the world better.
Right.
I imagine you'll have some people who really care about it, and they'll be the ones that take and probably donate the majority of the seeds, but that's okay because other people will take and if they plant them, that's the benefit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and if we get, you know, some volumes, we typically give away. Oh, in fact, I got to reach out to Encina to see if we can get more bio pellets to get out at the end of the Water Academy tour. But you know, we could get enough of them. That'd be an additional item that we could give out.
Probably not by this.
No, not by this one. But you know, we typically have some nice parting gifts at the end of the Water Academy tour.
So now tell me again, when do you think this will be up and running? I mean, it sounds like it's going to be a while because it's going to take some.
The biggest thing is finding the right container, you know, to put in the garden. And so she looked, and you know, I don't know that we want to stick a little toilet out there, you know. Strikes me as hilarious and funny, and you know.
You could put a planter in there. I used to actually have one of those. I bought one from an antique store and used to have it on my porch. And I put a pot in there with a plant.
Yeah.
I think, you know, ideally, I mean, I'm discuss this with Chris, so don't tell me if I'm off base or it's too soon. If we get it going by spring and do some of the advertisements over winter to say, hey, we're going to have this, come check out the garden is nice in the spring.
It is.
And then maybe we could have some, you know, ideally we could even have some local nurseries maybe donate some seeds for us and then kind of seed the seed, the library, so to speak. Pun intended. So you know, that I think would be probably a realistic timeline, but I don't know how realistic everything else is, but that'd be kind of ideal at least.
Yeah, I'll add it to my outreach updates so you guys can see the status of this.
Do you want to give the seed library a name?
Do you have a good thought?
Perhaps the Betty Ferguson Seed Library or something along those lines could be cool.
Yeah.
Good tribute.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
And if you are able to partner with local nurseries to donate seeds, you know, maybe they get a sticker on the back of the envelope as, you know, some free advertising too.
You got the seeds from us. We want native plants, come to us.
Okay. Great. Anything else on the seed library?
Nope.
Okay. Well, that sounds fun. I'm really looking forward to that. That's really cool. I like it that we're doing that. Okay. 5 awards.
So we have one. I think
we have a couple.
Yeah, we have a couple. Do you want to mention?
Sure, I'll start
Matthias?
with Matthias. So IT got the NESAC award again for excellence in you know, government, you know, basic information technology. I think he won in several different categories, but it became a culmination of one, you know, outstanding services type of award. So I'll be sitting in for Glenn on Wednesday, so I'll be doing that as part of my GM report or AGM report for that. So you guys got a preview of that. And then the other one I'll be mentioning is this one also.
Well, so there's 2 here too. So we got a San Diego Press Club award, maybe more than one. It's really what they like to do is, you know, get you to come to their event to get your award, so they don't really tell you. So we had a couple submittals, but then we also had some partnerships with the Water Authority, where it was kind of our Water News Network story. So we combined on it. So I think I'm hoping you remember we had the one video with Hamid, who had Flame Tree Farms, and it's, you know, it's a clever video to watch. I mean, you should put it together. But that was kind of a partnership with us and the Water Authority doing that one. So there's a couple others where We did some of the landscape renovations out at Lake San Marcos for one of the HOAs. So that's kind of, again, a partnership between us, the water authority, and actually the county. So some of those ones may have won, but I think our own submittals won, or we wouldn't have been told. So Alicia's out, but Lisa's going to go get I think the event's tomorrow night, and she's going to go pick it up and take some pictures, and
Great.
We'll have more information.
Oh, good. So I will have something to report. There'll be a surprise.
Right.
So by Wednesday, hopefully, I know what award that is. I can announce it.
Well, that's great. I mean, it's so many awards coming to your department. It's really great.
Well,
great work.
It doesn't get much better than what's coming. So it needs like some thematic music or something like that, but don't have any. But yeah, this is big. This is I really wanted this a lot, and Alicia did this. She made a whole series of videos for EPA WaterSense. Every time once a month, they would have a theme, like here's our theme, EPA WaterSense. So she'd create a video and share it with them, but she also created videos and kind of pulled off our name at the front and the end and gave it to them as a template for other agencies to in turn use, so that they could just throw their logo on the front or the end and call it their video.
Wow.
Our video was used by several other agencies.
Right. So in my old soccer bag, this is embargoed for now. EPA WaterSense Partner of the Year Award. It is embargoed until October 5th. So because that's when they're doing their award.
So you'll be doing a press release.
So I will not be announcing this on October 4th.
Is somebody watching? And I'm not supposed to put that one out. But this is a national award. This is not California. This is not San Diego County. This is the United States of America.
Yeah, outstanding.
Yeah, pretty happy with that. I gotta go look downstairs, and we may have to put up some additional shelves down there, because this one, yeah.
So a little anecdotal story. So Matthias was at the NISA conference, and he was very excited. So he sent an email and actually a text with a picture. He sent it to Glenn and I of the award. It's at the table. He sees the award announcement, and Vallecitos is #1 up there, and other recipients are below.
Well, and you need to point out that his photo of it.
I'm getting
okay, all right. His was clear acrylic.
Then he sends out the photo, and you can tell he's sitting at the banquet table, and there's coffee mugs and bread and stuff, and you can see right through because it's clear. He sent the photo,
coffee mug,
and we're like, "Hey, congratulations! We need to get it over to Chris so we could start working on something, and I'll make sure I announce this at the next board meeting also to give appropriate credit." So he sends the exact same picture to Chris and say, "Chris, use this."
Right?
He's like, I might have to Photoshop that.
Why don't you just put a half-eaten donut behind?
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah. And then a day later, Chris goes, "Hey, this is what a real award looks like."
Well,
that kind of,
the comment was like, "I see your California award and raise you one United States award," and I sort of thought might have hurt his feelings a little bit, but I just told him I'd been hanging around Ed too much.
So there's a little banter back and forth.
I guess so.
All in good spirit, obviously.
All fantastic news. Just outstanding.
So just to be clear, I cannot mention that because Glenn said, "Oh, don't forget to mention that."
No, let's sit on that.
Okay, I'll sit on that.
So that'll be.
But you two know.
We know. So that'll come out.
And anybody who reads the minutes
of this meeting. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So the mid-October meeting will be able to announce that.
Yeah. So absolutely, there won't be any press releases until after. So.
Yeah, I kept getting this email about I was going to get this delivery. And we tried to do a real good job of not opening suspicious emails. And I kept thinking, what?
Yeah.
Who is
this
from? Wouldn't tell me anything. Yeah. And subsequently, this is what was in the box. I was pretty happy to see that.
That's really nice.
Actually, Matthias sent me, because I didn't know the answer to this, but we have a whole, this is a separate subject, but talking about that, we have a whole protocol for something for a cybersecurity protocol.
Okay.
So it's like a booklet this big.
Yeah.
I'm glad he knows it. So.
Yeah, well, I'm glad he knows it too, because I got one and I just sent it to him and I said, hey, this doesn't look right.
Yeah.
This looks suspicious.
Don't be shy about doing it. He prefers that.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. Better to be too careful than not careful enough.
Well, excellent. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done all around. Yeah. Any other awards coming? Anything else?
We'll see how many we get at this other event. Okay. Yeah, open for it.
Yeah. All right. So, water leadership program. Looks like we're going to go to San Marcos Elementary School.
Yeah, so Bill Dean met with the San Marcos Unified School District, and he met with San Marcos Elementary. He met with actually all the 5th grade teachers there to talk about the program. So since then, at least one teacher, one person from San Marcos Unified also reached out to Glenn to talk about the program that actually does one of the special programs at San Marcos elementary, not middle school, San Marcos middle school. Thank you. Sorry, elementary school right here. And so they're looking at it now, but so far all indications are positive. So as we work through the program, and I'm going to be meeting with Glenn and Bill Dean to get more familiar, because Glenn has been more directly interacting with Bill, so he's starting to rope me into it so I can get more familiar with how we started, where we are, and how we're going to move forward.
Yeah, invite me to that meeting, please, and I'll see if I can make it. I'll go, because I want to stay involved in that. I think it's such a wonderful program, and I'm especially happy that we piloted it now at 2 schools that are that don't typically have trouble getting parental involvement and getting resources, and one of the things that I've said from the beginning is I really want this to be pushed into schools that have fewer resources, and I'm glad that we're going in that direction. So I think that this sounds like a great opportunity for San Marcos Elementary School.
Yeah, so what Glenn told me before he left is, for the update, all indications are positive right now, but he hasn't heard anything official.
Great. So. Okay. And so we've got one 5th grade teacher potentially interested in doing it?
No, my understanding, they talked to all 5 and they're trying to figure out, can they have multiple. The indications from Bill to Glenn is everybody seems interested.
Yeah.
It's just the mechanism of how they're going to structure. Are they going to structure it where they put one program together for all 5, or maybe 2 or 3 programs together for all, kind of like they did at Double Peak, or as a teacher want to take it on for the whole class? So we don't have those answers yet.
Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah, the devil is always in the details about the implementation, but it's such a great program, even if they can't implement it in totality like they've done in the past, or if it requires a little bit of maneuvering around. I'm sure they can figure out a way to do it. Yep. So great. That's great news. Okay. Any other comments or anything about that? Okay, great. Yeah, please keep me posted on that, and invite me to that meeting, and I'll see if I can make it.
I have a note right here. Because Glenn's scheduling that meeting, and email Glenn right after this and let him know.
Yeah, I am. I met a woman at CSDA who she's up in Alameda County, and she wanted to find out more about the program. So I connected her with Bill Dean.
Oh, perfect.
And I don't know what kind of scale he's capable at operating. Alameda is a little bit of a hike from here.
Yeah.
But maybe they could. I hope that they are able to communicate back and forth and maybe figure out a way to expand. Okay, 7, climate action plan update.
Yeah, so actually the timing of this is pretty good. You heard from Chris already. One of the things that we kind of pushed to the side, what do we call it? Climate
progress report?
Putting together to start out with is a climate progress report. And that name came, I believe, from Director Grosset at one of our meetings. He sent me a list, and out of the list, we said, that sounds really a good way to put it out. But since then, now we've kind of can't speak. About 2 weeks ago, we started talking about let's re-engage on this. So, Chris, you want to give her a little update on where we are, give the community update, and then
So there's a lot of things to look at. More than just it's like you turn over a rock and then you go, oh yeah, and it takes you to another place. So obviously, some of the bigger ticket items, the solar that we have both here We have at Twin Oaks Tanks, and then at LS1. So that's kind of one of the big ones. The Tesla batteries, we have them at headquarters. It's almost finalized at Metal.
We have like 5 or 6 sites.
Yeah, quite a few of the pump stations have Tesla battery backups. That's a big deal in that they keep us from having to fire up the generators if they lose power. So that's a big one. Board actions. We have the support of City of San Marcos and their plastics, telecommuting policy that was a resolution by the board, keeping the staff from driving in. Electronic signatures. So, we can use the PDFs, which is a board action, rather than having to print and photocopy and waste. And then even like the boxed, drinks the waters that you've got right there.
Even the board handbook.
Right. The garden itself, it's certified wildlife, it's certified earth friendly, it's also ocean friendly. And then I reached out to both Ed and Jason, and I need to kind of drill down on some of the details. But a lot of the pumps that we use are really very efficient. Like we have enhanced specifications so that they're like, I think the right term is variable speed or.
Yeah, so what we do is we were part of a program that SCG used to have back called Savings by Design. And it basically, SCG no longer has this program, but it was incentivized probably in, probably 90s, early 2000s to go ahead and buy the more expensive, more efficient electrical equipment that puts less load on the electrical grid, and SCG will reimburse you a portion of the difference. Well, SCG no longer does that, but we continue to do that without the incentive. So, and we found, especially with the SCG rates, that the payback's usually in about 5 to 7 years. So from a cost factor, it made sense because the water pumps last about 20 years.
Okay.
So, but in the beginning when they did it, they incentivized it. I think the rates just got so high they no longer had to incentivize it, is what happened. But we still, in our standards, drive basically higher efficient ways to move both water and sewer around and treat water and sewer to reduces greenhouse gases. I have a few other things, but
well, and the lighting, I think they're making efforts to switch out the lighting to LED. I don't know if it's all the way complete yet, but it was broached. It's something that we do.
We did an energy management study for the entire district some time ago, and that energy management study, we actually got a grant to do it, so it didn't cost ratepayers any money. Basically, look at all the low-hanging fruit, what we do well, what we don't do well, and compared it to how we could, at the time, it was really just reduce costs of operating the district. But when we relook at that energy management, we're checking off what have we done, what have we not done, and not only what was the cost savings, but what was also the environmental impact to that, reduction in electricity consumed, essentially, which equates to reduction in greenhouse gases. So we're starting to put all that inventory together, looking at the numbers. Chris is, again, we just started talking about this 2 weeks ago. The other portion, the North County Recycled Water Coalition, is toying around with the idea of putting a multi-agency climate action plan together, which we would be part of. I don't know if it's going to have legs, because the cities that are part of that already have a climate action plan, and water and sewer numbers are fairly generic. So what happens is the regional agencies like Metropolitan and the County Water Authority are required to have a climate action plan that basically calculates the amount of greenhouse gases it takes to deliver water from their water sources to their customers. Yeah. So essentially, the cities take that number and then they add a generic water delivery number to it, kind of like they do for generic round trips for cars, 6-10 trips a day for average person type thing. And so this would be more of a comprehensive, more detailed climate action plan, and they're not calling it a plan, but it's still something that actually CEQA, so take through the environmental process. that'd give a more detailed. Well, I can tell you some of the cities are nervous about that, and you know, some of the major players, as far as size within the North County Recycle Coalition, are cities. So, because if it ups or down their number, and they already have a dedicated cap that they have to meet in the climate action plan, it can have some ramifications. So I don't really know if it's going to have legs, but I know the effort that Chris is starting on, we're also going to leverage working with the coalition on maybe putting together more of like a climate action inventory, because at the end of the day, the Biden administration's all their grant opportunities have a large greenhouse gas component. So if you show a reduction, a significant reduction, then you get more points. It's a point system. You get more points towards getting the grant. Is what it comes down to. So it's incentivized. So if there's money available and it's a project that makes sense, then finding that angle, finding that greenhouse gas reduction is not only good for the environment, but also will actually deliver more money in grants for the district. One of the things that Chris and I are working on is when we put our inventory together, most of our decisions to date have been based on a cost benefit for the ratepayers. So the good news is we could not only show that we have reduced greenhouse gases by certain percentages, and we're trying to figure out the numbers. We don't have those numbers yet, but we can also show that this is also benefited our ratepayers, just like our power purchase agreement for solar has benefited our ratepayers. Our pumps, higher end pumps by design, we have about a 7-year payback. So all of these things have benefited our ratepayers. So what we're envisioning is something to put out. You know, I don't know which avenue yet, but put out to the public that shows here's what Vallecitos is doing for the environment that also benefits you as a ratepayer.
Yeah, great.
So kind of a dual pronged approach that shows kind of co-equal, you know, goals. So we're doing this not only for the environment, we're also doing this that it reduces future costs.
I think that's really important, and I'm so glad to hear that it looks like we're looking inward first, because that's what we've been talking about all along, that climate action plan can seem like a really overwhelming thing, but we are already doing so many things that can count towards that.
Yep.
And it just takes looking at kind of in a systematic way. And it sounds like that's where we've started. And it's a great place to start. It's the logical place to start. So I'm really glad that you're looking through that. And I'm also glad to see some of the things that have come directly out of this committee are on this list, things that you're talking about. So yeah, good.
So what our plan is, it'll still take some time to put together, and Chris is just starting to get staff back.
Yeah,
and a lot of this falls on Chris's shoulders. So if the committee will have obviously some patience with staff to get this, but we're planning on coming back to committee with kind of the inventory, and then talking about how we're going to craft the message and where the message is going to go, and then obviously go to the full board at the appropriate time.
Good. And I like the 1-2 punch with here's how it's benefiting the environment, here's how it's benefiting our customers, because I think that's important. That's important to share. The North County Recycled Water Coalition, who's a part of that?
There's 8. Well, it floats. There's I think 9 or 10 agencies in the local, but for the federal lobbying, there's really 8 agencies. I won't get all of them off the top of my head, but City of Oceanside, City of Escondido, City of Carlsbad, Leucadia Wastewater District, Vallecitos, Rincon, Livenhain, and there's one more, I think. San Luis Joint Powers. I think those are the 8 that are involved. So in primary focus of the group, it's not a JPA or anything like that. It's basically we're get together for grant funding opportunities to forward both recycled water and water reuse projects. So that's really the main goal of the group today. And we're looking at how that's changing because of new legislation coming out. So that's a whole different topic.
Sure, I understand. Okay, great. Well, I'm really pleased with that progress, and I'm glad that we really put it on the agenda and can talk about it. And I look forward to seeing how it progresses, and fully appreciate that it will take time, and you're just not getting it. So.
Yeah, we haven't forgot about it. It's just and it's just opportunistic that it came up because we literally just go, we need to re-engage in this.
Yeah, good, very good. Okay, any other comments?
CRP has to get ready to it.
CRP, climate.
Wasn't it climate?
What do I call it?
Climate progress report.
CPR.
CPR. Well, that's easy to remember.
Progress report, right? Yeah.
But you know,
climate action progress report. Right?
But you know what's great about CPR is that it's life-giving and it's sustaining and it's a rescue.
CPR for our environment.
Yeah, CPR for the environment. I love it. Okay, great. Okay. Anything else?
Just update on the foam issue at Meadowlark. Has that been resolved at all?
Well, not because of any of our doing, so to speak.
Right.
It's just stopped. Although working with the way we work is Vallecitos pays Encina to do our industrial waste. So they hold the industrial waste permits because they're the sewer basin jurisdiction. And Meadowlark is a sub plant within the same basin because we pump our solids to Encina for treatment. So that's just the way it works in the wastewater world and how the permits are set up. So they visited and kind of sent out strongly worded letters to who they think has the potential in the area to be a culprit. That basically said, you're harming the environment, you're harming the plant, you're causing more water, causing more costs to treat. Those costs will end up coming back to you. And, if we catch you, you're in violation type thing. It's almost impossible because by the time you see it there, it's already passed. Mm-hmm. But since they sent that out, it's slowed down significantly to almost non-existent, which is good news. So, knock on glass on top of wood. Mm-hmm. Hopefully that continues. But I can tell you from being here 18, almost 19 years, the plant gets 1 to 2 upsets usually a year. This is abnormal.
Yeah. Thanks for the update.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, anything else? Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you. Great meeting.
Yeah, great meeting.